Well, hello there everyone, my name is Amy, this is The Opinionated Woman, and welcome to the first Crafty Reads of 2023. Woo woo woo! So exciting! I feel like this video, it's been a long time since I filmed the last one, and I feel like it should have come sooner, but I don't know, my reading was just like, it took a little bit longer to ramp up this year, but I've read 5 books. There were some hits, there were some misses. For crafting part of today's video, I am still working. I'm going to be working on this blanket for a long time, but I have run out of yarn to work on this more. I have also need to wait for a payment for my work for last week until I can buy the yarn for my new project, which is going to be a rainbow hexagon cardigan. I'm very excited for it. So what I got to do today is weave in ends, which is really boring, so you're going to help me. So yeah, let's get into it. The first book that I read this year was A Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. Editing me here. I have realized that The Box in the Woods, which is the book that I was just about to talk about, is a HarperCollins book, and we are not reviewing HarperCollins books right now because of the union strike that's happening. I highly recommend following this here TikTok account because they update on everything that's happening with the strike and trying to get better pay and better hours for the people that actually produce these books for us. So yeah, I'm cutting the rest of this review out and we'll carry on with the next book. Then I went to the library and I picked up a series that I started like 4 years ago, and that's the H.G. Wells & Co. I think that's what the series is called, H.G. Wells & Co. I think. Whatever. So I picked up the first one on audio. It's called The Portable Door. I can't remember where I got it recommended. It must have been on BookTube somewhere. But it was magical realism. It was really funny. It had like a Terry Pratchett-esque humor while set in the real world. And I really loved it, but I haven't been able to get hold of the second one. And then I went to the library and I found it. So I brushed up on what happened in the first one, and then online, and then got into this one, and it was such a good time. Our main character, Paul, basically got this job. He went and interviewed for this job. He wasn't really sure what it was for, what the company did or anything. He was just hoping for a boring old office job where he, could just get through his day, make his money, and then, go home and have a cup of tea. He doesn't want for much in life. But after a while, he realizes that this work is not what it seems, and that there are actually magic and creatures involved in the running of this business. And then we get more embroiled into the mysteries behind that world. And then this goes into a whole different side of things where we find out a little bit more about Paul's past, but I'm not going to say anything about it because that would be a spoiler. But it's really good. It's so fucking funny. I love the way that it's told is very matter-of-fact and British way that it's told is just freaking hilarious. And if I can get hold of the third one from the library, I'm definitely going to. Then I read another library book, and that's a classic, My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I've been wanting to read this book ever since I started reading Daphne du Maurier. It's obviously like a well-loved book of hers. And I enjoyed it while at the same time, it's not my favorite from her, So we're following our main character, Philip, and he lives with his cousin, Ambrose, who is his guardian. And Ambrose goes across to Italy, and he meets a distant cousin, Rachel. And because this is back in the day, and people are nasty, Ambrose marries her. But before he can get back to the UK, he dies. And before he died, he did send these like kind of suspicious letters that sort of cast some doubt on Rachel and her motivations. And then Rachel decides after he dies that she's going to come to England and see Philip and, see the property and everything like that. And Philip is sort of determined to not like her because he kind of has this idea of her being like this old lady, and then when he actually meets her and she's like a stunning, much younger woman, he's swayed immediately. She's very charming. So the whole time you have this undercurrent of wondering, like, is she trustworthy? Is she actually just charming him? Or the things that Ambrose was worried about valid and things like that? And it's like mysterious kind of, undertone that runs throughout the whole book. And I found it, like, it was really good tension. I love the setting. I enjoyed it. The ending, I liked the twist. I thought the twist was good, but I just thought it could have been handled in a slightly better way. I felt that it was a bit rushed. Like, it all just like happened and then the book was over, you know? So I did enjoy this, but it wasn't my favorite from Daphne du Maurier. Then I was having a problem with my audiobooks, you know, because I started reading Blood Marked by Tracy Deonn, which I've been waiting for a while, like, for that to come out, like ever since I finished Legendborn. I couldn't get into it, but so I've put it down, but not in a permanent way. I put it down just for now, because, like, I just don't think fantasy is heading for me at the moment, especially YA fantasy, and I think especially on audio, like, for some reason. So I'm just going to give it a bit of time, and then I'll try it again. So I was like, you know what I need is a cute fucking gay romance. So I picked up Chef's Kiss by TJ Alexander. This is a non-binary author, an own voice non-binary author, which is really fucking great. I'm always looking out for new and interesting trans authors to read from. So this follows Simone, who's a pastry chef who works in the test kitchen of a magazine. Think Bon Appetit before the racism, you know? So they've got like a website, they've got a magazine, and now they're starting to make YouTube videos. And at the same time as the workers deciding that they have to be in these YouTube videos, they hire a new kitchen manager, and their name is Ray. And they are loud and tall and muscly and butch, and has this honking laugh. And Simone is finding herself, her little bisexual heart, absolutely like falling for this wonderful person. But at the same time, there's like a little bit of misunderstanding between like the things that they say to, and they're very much stuck in the like, okay, we have to be friends kind of situation. So a lot of things come to a head when Ray ends up coming out to Simone as non-binary. We knew they were big old gay the whole time, obviously. They come out to Simone as non-binary and they start using they, them pronouns, and this starts to cause some issues within the company. So it feels really Bon Appetit-esque, except with transphobia instead of racism. And I loved the way that it was, the way that it was so like, it was very funny when it dealt with cis people, because obviously this is not a cis author. And when people come out to us, a lot of the time, us as cis people can take it as a very personal thing to be like, oh God, this is so difficult that I have to deal with this, and I have to deal with these pronoun changes and name changes and all that kind of stuff. When actually, like, we need to get over ourselves. It's not our problem, it's the trans person's issue. And we just need to respect them and do what they ask. And it did that in a very playful way, which I enjoyed. And yeah, it's a very, very slow burn romance. So like, you know what's going to happen. It's a romance, you're reading it, it's in the blurb. But there's a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of community around the kitchen and around coming together, around supporting Ray. And there's some like cute forced proximity moments. It's really freaking sweet and adorable. And literally, like I said, the slowest burn romance that I have ever read in my life. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be picking up the next one. I think it's called Chef's Choice or something. It's the next one in the series about Simone's trans roommate, which I'm really excited about. And then the last book is the book that I finished reading last night, and that is Luster by Raven Leilani. I picked this up because lots of people recommended it, but I didn't really know what it was about. And in the beginning, I was like, this is just like kind of a basic story about this woman, this black woman that is sleeping with or dating a married man, a married white man. And he's kind of in an open relationship situation, but it's one of those situations where you can tell the husband has convinced the wife that this is what he wants to do, and the wife isn't really pursuing having other partners in any way. But the man, of course, is. And it was really interesting because she starts to get, like, inexplicably, she's kind of a mess, you know, and she starts to get inexplicably wound up in this man's family, not just with him, but with his wife, Rebecca, who's gorgeous and works in a morgue and is slightly older and more like repressed, and then his black daughter that he's adopted, who has no other black people around her in her life, and like doesn't even have someone that understands the needs that she has when it comes to her hair, you know, like the most basic of things. So as her relationship with Eric, which is the white man, you know, kind of flounders or like goes into the background, she's more flung into the dynamics of the family and where she fits in, and this tenuous relationship with Rebecca, and what a strange situation they found themselves in. And I thought it was really nuanced and really like well crafted, and used a lot of like showing instead of telling. It was just written very, very well and very artfully. And that's all the books. I think I maybe have one more tale. I have one more tale. No, two. Okay, there's a couple more tales for me to weave in. But yeah, that is the first Crafty read of 2023. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've read any of these books, let me know in a comment down below. I would love to get comments on my videos that aren't about my armpit hair, even though they're covered up today. If you don't know the context of that, look up my hairy armpit video. But anyway, if you like this, like, comment, subscribe, check out my Kofi, all of that fun stuff, and I'll check you next time.